Welcome everyone to the Kendall Report. It is our live Friday. I'm getting all set here in the trading room. So welcome as we all we'll hang out for a few minutes while the room fills up, and then we'll get going. So looking forward to doing today's show. Markets are reasonably volatile right now, so that's fun. We're seeing some recovery. I was hoping to get started around the time we're going to see this market start to bottom. So anyway, we're just hanging out waiting for some folks to join. As I kind of look at the charts that are going on, hey, Bo, you're number one. Where is everybody? We're ready to go here. So just hanging out in the trading room, just waiting for some folks to set up. My plan here today is to start to continue to educate how the WaveTech indicators work. We just missed a beginning of a fairly good turnaround here a minute ago. I was hoping to get live and maybe catch this little low here. Just while we're hanging out here, I'll just bring up this other screen. Yeah, somebody's asking, is it easy? Yeah, if you have a trading view, you just buy them and they show up in your right in your system. So you don't have to set up anything. It just automatically just comes in. There's 19 videos to go along with them, all of that stuff. We'll put some links into underneath this video to get, but you can go to kendallreport.com/indicators, and that will get you there. We'll do that. We're going to hang out around for a couple hours, so we can look at Adobe. I know it got hammered pretty good. We live on Adobe Premiere and other Adobe products, so I remember a few years ago when they pretty much owned the markets. I did see some interesting, which always makes me laugh, is Kathy Wood bought like 271,000 shares of Tesla. So she's buying the dip again. That's what got her in trouble back in 22, where she lost over half of her money. So we continue on. Yeah, we'll wait for just a few more people to get in. Let me go over to this other page while I'm sitting here. I've got a different camera that I've set up. I've been setting up new camera for the last hour. This is a little better than the other one I had. So what I've got on the screen here, and we'll just start to get into a bit of what the flow is going on in the market. This chart that I have on the screen right now is a 5-second chart. And on the 5-second, I only use one of the indicators. I use the 200, WaveTech 200 on this. Also have the predictive and the percentage changes on the moving averages, so you know what the probability map is that's unfolding. And this is interesting to hang out and watch. So while the room's coming alive here, we'll just kind of hang out, talk about this. I know it seems ridiculous to some people to talk about a 5-second chart, but this is actually pretty amazing what you can do with what this chart will tell you. Right now, I'm going to change a couple settings here. I just want to, they're only set out for 50 bars because I had to adjust them for something I was doing the other day. So let me fix a couple things while the room's clearing up, and I'll talk about what I'm doing. What I'm doing here is just going out and changing the future bars. So we're using machine language to go out and project out what is likely to happen in the future. I'm just checking all these settings here. Okay. Bear with me. I should have done this ahead of time, but it didn't get done. I apologize. But while we're doing this, we just want what the goal is, and this is interesting on a chart like this because this is the final one, and we're going to be there, okay? So this is what I want to show you. You can see the slope of what's going on with this chart, and this is 5 seconds, and what the 150 bars out is looking at is about 6 minutes in the future. So if you're a day trader, I do a lot of day trading. If you're trading very actively, this thing will help you with entries. It'll give you a feel for that next little scalp. I'm a scalper by trade. I started scalping in my first pit experience going way back in, my gosh, 1979 is when I walked in the pit. But really the best scalping days were much later in the cycle, probably around 1983, 84. Those are times where we were developing the PPMs that you folks have. These indicators go way back. This is my entire career you're looking at. I'm going to go off screen just so we can see the whole thing here. And I'm going to show you a couple setups here. That you can start to key off of. I got to change one more setting here. This is so what I have on the screen here, 5 second bar, and this is something I've been talking about. I try to do some education when I'm doing my videos every day. I hope you folks appreciate it. We've got like 6,500 new subscribers after I reopened the channel in the last, I guess, 2 weeks now. So I'm pretty happy about that. So there's a lot of new people hanging around. And what we're seeing here right now is these numbers here are giving us the predictive capabilities of what the averages are likely to hold in the pattern. I'm trying to blow this up so we can see a little bit more. But this is what's happening. It's projecting out right now. We're trading right now at 81.75, basically projecting out about 3 to 4 minutes in the future. We're going to be trading right around the same level, around 82. I've got my cursor out here just kind of measuring where it's likely to go. And one of the things I look for is the projection of the 200. You'll see at the very top and it's rolling. You can see my indicator. Let me draw this in. So this will be a setup. And I also have level 2 on the trade station. I have not done any trades today, so I've got a clean slate here. So we'll see what we can get cranking up here in a little bit once we get everything set up. And while we're setting everything up, then the room will fill up as well. It's starting. We're already up at 100. So what we're looking at here is this 5 second chart. I look for the 200. Let me draw in a couple things just so you can see exactly. I'm going to draw in this pattern, and then we're going to make this a bit educational as well. So we're starting to see this little right shoulder set up, and you wonder if you're going to get like what I call a 1, 2, 3 Fibonacci or an ABC. If you figure out how to trade these little ABCs here, it's pretty good. Now this is a 5 second chart. So what I want to show you here is what's happening. So this is the 200 moving average coming through here. And what I look for is when these algos start to project above, you see all of a sudden they're turning above this 200. This is a positive sign that we're probably likely to get something like this, but that 200 is going to be resistance. But this setup that I'm showing you right now, the setup that I'm showing you at the moment is, it doesn't matter if it's a 5 second, 5 minute, 1 minute, 1 hour daily chart, it just doesn't matter. And so what you're going to, these setups are all the same. And you can see where, I'm going to leave this up here for a minute and let's watch this. The beauty of it, I've told people and taught traders for probably 30, 35 years. And one of the things that that I always tell, use short-term charts, like a 1-minute chart, to learn your patterns, because what happens is you get 60 bars every minute. And as long as it's a liquid market, like the E-minis here are super liquid, as long as it's very liquid and the chart patterns look very orthodox, meaning they don't look like just noise and scramble that's going around, that is what you always look for here. I've got to erase a bunch of old junk here. One sec. Okay. But all of these patterns here, so we didn't get, a couple of things did happen. We got some Fibonacci targets up in this range suggesting, but meanwhile, the pattern, we didn't get a 1, 2, 3. We got right up here to the 200, and then we backed into this pattern again. And now we've got fibs on the downside. So when you're looking at a short-term chart, if you're a TradingView user, you have to have, I believe you have to have the premium. You have to buy the premium subscription, and you do have to get the real time, and that way you can get it. Now I have TradeStation on the far side of this, so this is not part of TradingView. I've got TradeStation so I can see level 2 there and what's going on. And the market's pretty thin right now, to be honest with you. It's like, I haven't seen it this thin for a while. So I was hoping that doing these live streams on Friday at this time would give us an opportunity to maybe get a turnaround or something like that. Not sure. I'm trying to clear out all of these arrows. I'm not sure why they keep coming back. But yeah, so now we're breaking down. We're coming down to these fib targets. And you see the 200 down at the bottom. Let me get off screen here. You can see 200 at the bottom is going down. So this is what we also want to look at. We want to see when the 200 is starting to advance. And what's happening right now is the 200 is growing into a downtrend. This is what's happening. And this is a very dynamic chart. So what ends up usually happening, we got fib targets down here. I know I've got a mess going on the screen here, but let's clear this up. Wow. I don't know how to clear this tool out totally. So we'll just have to deal with it. But you can see what's happening. We're still kind of in this range. We're trading, 78 now? We were 82. So we're drifting, and this 200 starting to roll over. It's starting to look like we might get more of a downtrend. Let me. All right, well, this is, so I'm going to go full screen, off screen, but I want you to see something, and this is, so what I'm doing, if you see these monitors, these are 4K 32-inch monitors. There's 6 of them. I think which way? Yeah, no, it's this way. This thing will follow me around. But anyway, there's 6 monitors here, and what I'm trying to simulate on this other screen over here is I'm trying to simulate 4 of those 6 monitors, and it's on a small screen, so it really really is a tough to, everything condenses, so I have to order them. Let's just update this. This is the 5-second chart that I've got here. You can see we're still kind of drifting around. Down below here is, I've got, somehow Tesla got on here. Now I'm going to open up this chart full, so we'll start to expand out. But I wanted you, especially folks coming on early, to understand what's going on. Now, the indicators that I have on here right now are my typical, the WTARs, which are the predictive. These dotted lines are predicting where the moving averages are going. You can see this is an hourly chart. Everything's pointing down. Looks like we got weakness coming back into the market here. We're kind of in a consolidation, but this hard down see if I can get this so we can see it just a touch better. This pattern that's unfolding right here is we're coming in and we're trading in between these lines. This is the market grid from the daily plotted on an hourly chart. There's an indicator that does that in the suite. So you can see where these numbers are. You can see we bounced off of this S3 number a couple times here early this morning, right at this bar. If you can see my cursor, let me draw this in. I'm concerned that you guys can't see the cursor. And by the way, I didn't do a sound check, but I assume that the sound is good. It's not pushing too hard or anything. So as we look at a couple things I want to point out here, the PPM1 is being projected to get weaker as we come into close. I think we'll retest this value here. And when we get through this, hopefully, what time is it? Sometime in the next maybe 10 or 15 minutes. Okay, good. Thanks. Thanks, Tom. Hopefully we get a setup here. Maybe we can, if there's another bouncer, we can figure out a trade here. We'll set that up. But I want to do some orientation here around the indicators and what's going on. So this PPM1 is tracking. It's tracking the. I know there's a lot of stuff on the screen, so I'm going to try to pull a couple things off. Yeah, there's just a lot going on in these in this little box here. Let me go full screen for a minute. This will help you a little bit. So what we're looking at here is, I've got a number of things on here. I have you'll see these lines in here. These are what's called the WaveTech webs. These are regression lines. And so we're looking at 20 of these, and they build patterns, but it does look like we're trying to get where we're going to see maybe a retest of this low, at least come down into some numbers here that are likely. So let's bring up some numbers on here just so we can see them. So over here, this is for the hourly. We're looking at S2 is 75. We're currently trading at S1. And extreme is 71 and 67. That would put us down here. And this, I'm just trying to find this one number here. Yeah, so this number we're looking at here is around 71, is right at the S3, is where we should possibly trade down to. And where there's a good chance that at that level in the final hour of today, we might see a decent rebound. So, what I'd like to see, folks, if you can, is if you have any questions or anything. Yeah, that's interesting, David. I don't know how to make that brighter on this. I use Streamlabs OBS, and I don't know if there's a way to change the contrast on a monitor. Won't do it right now, but I don't know. It might be because of the black screens. It might be better if I was on white backgrounds too. That might help. To transition everything over to that would really end up the flow. But what we're setting up here, I said, looks like we're trying to come in, print down, probably stay in this range. Extremes looks like right now at 75, 71 on the downside. I'm going to try to be patient here. Maybe we can get some trades off there. I'm also going to. I want to move this over so we can see time and sales. This is pretty significant, just while we're watching and setting things up. So feel free to ask any questions. Yeah, so Jorge, that's a really good question. Asking when the fib targets appear up and down, which one do you expect? You go with the directional pressure of the PPM. So if you have, if we don't have any fib targets on this page here right now, but if we had some on, let's say it's giving the high and low. Let me go to another chart here to see if we have anything like that. Fortunately, it doesn't look like anything is out there at the moment. Yeah, when I say what you do, let's say when you get them up and down at the same time, you look at the PPMs, you see if they're positive, if they're in trend mode up or down, and you go with the direction of the trend. So if you're in a negative, you're going down, you've got lower Fibonacci targets. The algos, everything's telling you that we're going as projecting downward, then you go with a downward slope. And then you just watch for reversals or anything that happens to, if there's any changes there. Yeah, Matt's got a question. It's talking about when still having a hard time getting the short side down. I will tell you this, I tend to be a contrary trend trader, especially in day trading. So I'm looking when I see certain characteristics. Sometimes I don't catch with the trend all the time. I'll contra trade, but I trade with size. So I don't need much of a bounce to make money. That's one of the techniques I use as a scalper. It takes a bit of capital to be able to do that, but the short side's always difficult. I guess that's what I'm going to say. You'll figure out a technique. You just have to keep monitoring and journaling around this. Now, those of you who've been in my live room, I always talk about, make sure while you're learning all of this stuff is to have a journal. I use something called a Remarkable. I don't know if you folks have seen. I'm not doing advertisement, but the Remarkable is an electronic piece of paper. I love that thing. I just sit there. I've got a gazillion pages, and it syncs up with my desktop so I can see them anywhere I'm at, including my phone and the whole bit. So I have my notes. Look at this little dip we're getting here on the screen, folks. I'm going to open this up. See, it looks like we got right up to resistance. This 5-second chart. Let me go full screen. And let's blow this up so we can see it. So we just got this move right back to the 200. I've said this before. I think it was almost 2.5 years ago now. I never used the 200. I did use the 40 period moving average, and I would use the next sequence of charts up. And so like a 40-day moving average is equal to about a 10-week moving average. So I always had different elements of the 200. A 40-week moving average is very similar to a 200. So I've used the 40 for 40 years. So it's just one of those things. But look at this. We got above here. Now we're waffling on either side of this 200, and you can see the algos are just suggesting we're going to flatline here, and we're coming into about a half hour to the last hour. And I see FF was asking, do we think we're going to melt up in the last hour? And I'll show you what the best way to figure that out without guessing. I think I'm going to put it on. I'm just going to change this over to hourly. I like the setup here better. So let me just come over here to the hourly. And this is what I was talking about here. One of the things that is really, really effective, folks, is that when these PPMs turn up, like this morning, if you were watching this thing this morning, right on this last bar right here, it was forecast just to turn up a little bit. We get this reversal and trade all the way up into the S3 RTX level. And that was all that had in there, but all it took was that little bit of momentum on PPM1. I use these things intraday, like if they turn up or turn down, they're forecasted to turn up the next hour. I'm looking for entry points off the 5 and other levels. So yes, I am in Arizona, and it's winter up here. It's snowing just a little higher elevations around here right now. So no global warming here yet. So just coming back up here for a minute, folks. What we're seeing here, I want to wait for this setup. I'm hoping that at least we'll. Last week was so perfect, last Friday, because we came in, it was right at a turnaround. Everything was forecasting a turnaround in the markets, and it was perfect, right? And what we're seeing right now, sometimes, and we used to experience this in the trading room a lot of times, you come in and it's like you're in nowhere's lands. All you're going to do is chop yourself up trying to jump in the water. It's just not going to work. So we'll just kind of do some analysis, talk about what's going on with these charts, make it educational. Hopefully out of that will come up something that will go. Yeah, we're on the June contract here now. Bo was just asking. So yeah, we're on June contract. I made the rollover after a few days. It was, I guess, the premium kind of gets stuck in my mind, and everything's rolled over on the charts pretty good. Yeah, so I mean, this chart here is like watching paint dry, but let's blow this up a little bit, and so let's draw some things in, and let me go off screen so we have full screen here. So the pattern that I'm going to do my best to go back and do a replay just so we can see coming through the evening. So we'll play this out. I'm just trying to get the timing on this. So this I want you to see how these algos are changing all the time. I mentioned in the Substack last night that I thought we would kind of stabilize into the opening, and we did just a little bit. But as we come, I want to go back. Yeah, you'll see that these PPMs and the forecast is going to moderate very quickly to turn negative, just in a couple bars. So I'm trying to do one bar at a time. Okay, so all of a sudden you see moderation on the back end of these predictions. You see it trying to turn down here, and what's going to happen is you're going to see the big turn down happening. There it is. So that little turn down in the PPM projected us all the way down to the 200-hour moving average. This was just it just happened, right? So now this is the perfect. I want you to look at the forecast. Forecast is, let me draw in a couple of things, because this is like the trade that I do all the time. I was out of town yesterday, so just trying to I didn't get back in till just after the close yesterday. So let me just come in here and let's just draw a couple things in here that I think will be helpful. So what I'm talking about is right here. You'll see all of the indicators are doing a V right here. And the next bar then is going up, right? So all of these are making this little V. This one not as big, but it's a longer term average. Same thing here, even the 200. And so what that's telling us is that this bar right here is probably going to be the low bar, the next bar you want to be a buyer on. Just on that little turn up. And sometimes you only get PPM 1. Sometimes you get PPM 1. Other times you'll get this one. We've got everything's lined up perfect. And so, and I actually hate the time because we're in Arizona. We don't switch our clocks. So market is open at 6:30 now. Some of the best trades that I find almost every day is in that hour before the opening. There's some really good setups that happen there. So if you're fortunate enough to be in a good time zone and you have to get up in the middle of the night to trade these things, that's a good deal. I hate this new time because markets used to open at 7:30, but this V formation here that we're looking at is the this is the trade that I watch for all the time. If I see that setup, then the next bar should be a low. So I have to take all this stuff off to be able to run this thing again. So let's go back and let's run this. So let's go to the next bar. Check it. Okay, next, there it is. So next bar dipped a little bit. If we look at the stats here, so we got all the tools here, folks. We got the market grid. So we traded down just after that bar. That's why you look, I think I can set this up if maybe this is what we need to do right now, is the 5-minute chart was telling you that this thing was bottoming. So you could have picked this trade up. Okay, you get the signal, says this thing's supposed to turn up. Look at all the PPMs on this bar now. They all those V's came to reality. And that was the turnaround. And the trade that hour, so we just got the 1 hour bar. If we had a 5-minute chart, we had, the better probably 8, 12 bars to trade off. And I think what I'll do, I know what I'll do. When I get done here, we'll go look at this at the same time when this was setting up. We'll go back and look at the 5-minute and see what that was looking like. Okay, so we'll do that next. But this, all it took, we get 2 hours up, but this downward bar right here, the market grid was telling us that target was 5201, 5197, and we went to, the high was 5201, spot on that number. But we knew that number as soon as the bar came updated. We had the market grid. All these numbers were right on our screen here to see them. So you're like, best way to put it, we used to, because we used to trade with our hands, right? We like buy them, you're just buying them, like somebody say you back the truck up. But when you see this pattern, this on an hourly chart, this is the setup. And I'm going to show you how to fine tune that. So I have all of those charts. I have the 5-second, the 1, the 5, and the hourly. The hourly is the main trigger point for me. Like if I see an hourly, I've got, you can't see it, but in the back screen back here, there's I have a clock. So everything I do is on timing. So I'm looking for that 5-minute rollover. The nice thing is TradingView tells you how many minutes are left, but it's like I have, an alarm every hour. I need like 5 minutes before the hour. I'm always alert when that hourly is coming in. What's the forecast? Then as soon as you get the first bar and click, you'll see the whole setup happen. And it's reaction time. I mean, this is whatever game you play, this is, you got to have those game responses when you see it, because I've had times where I try to get these trades off and the market's just running and they happen so fast. And the same thing happens, actually, folks. We could sit here, and what would be fun to do is to be here at the opening. I can tell you, probably later this year, things are going to be a lot easier for me to do. You'll understand later. a lot of transitions going on around me right now, so these are good things. But this turnaround is like premium to catch. If you catch it, you only need to catch one of these a day, and you should be able to make all the bacon you need. Okay, it's all there. You should be that 1 hour, maybe 2. I'm a goal trader, so I have a goal I need to meet every day, and I have a crazy goal. I want to make 1% of my money every day. Okay, whatever that is, whatever the value of my account is, you make it and you go home. you leave the floor. Back in the days of trading floors, I had. We used to have a game room upstairs, so you could leave the floor. We had putting green. We had all the old Space Invaders, as old school guys. Space Invaders, Galaga. We had machines, no quarters. You just go up and play. We had chess. We had ping pong. Sometimes the best place you could go is go up off the floor. You can't lose any money up there if you're having a bad day. And if you already made your day, then it's time to play, I guess, so to speak. Sometimes you stay in the game too long and they get it back. So and Matt is right about this, that S3 was perfect. And it was, it was just right there. Everything's set up. So what I'm trying to get you folks to think, like when you're using these indicators, what you want to do is you have all these numbers. You know what the next step is. You have the... let me just, so you're not distracted here. Yeah, so you think about this. You have all of the numbers in front of you here. You have the market grid. You've got all of the algos. Everything's giving you some projections. It's telling you how you should think on this next bar setup, especially using the hourlies. For me, that helps guide. It's sort of like a compass, at least point me in the right direction. So, and sometimes, hey, it's trading, it's probabilities. These things turn around. You just got to be quick to X out when certain things happen. And like I said, my goal on these Fridays is to do pretty much training and live analysis as we're seeing the market. So where are we trading at here? So. Yeah, so let's go back and run the script a couple more bars, and then we'll go to the 5 minute. I know, huh? Do you want me to turn it off? I can do that. I'm doing it. How's that? Better? All right. Yeah, that makes sense. That thing is annoying. Now we got glare, so we can't break away. Anyway, yeah. So let's go back and let's run the script again. Okay. So the next bar, couple things happened here. Next bar, we turned back down again. Market came back into the range. I don't have the target range in there that I was showing you a minute ago, but I can go back there fairly easy. So if we come over to this chart, same hourly chart, but now we've got that S3 number down there. This is what Matt was talking about. So we reversed and we did 2 hours down. And now we're trying to rally here, which is, while we're doing that, we're probably, let me see something here. Yeah, we get down to 76, so 75 is the number, so we probably missed a trade doing this, but let's just, we should see, it looks like we're coming right into the webs. We're also coming into, right now, the 86 number. 87 is R1. On this bar. If we get through 87, then 92 is the next number. And one of the things I keep talking to you guys about in the Substack, and by the way, I It's $8 a month. Get the Substack. Go to kendallreport.com/newsletter. Sign up. There's a free 7-day trial. But I think it's useful. I try to put all these numbers out. They're out by every morning on the open. It's a time where I can actually think about things without markets and distractions around me. So it comes out probably midnight, roughly between 10 and midnight on Pacific time, but it's out long before the opening. Okay, thanks, Craig. Yeah, so that is it's only when the commercials are on. So yeah. Anyway, but these patterns, what we're seeing here is, look at this. We went right back in there again. Well, we came in, we didn't get quite as deep. Now we're right at resistance right now. So let's go. I want to go back to this chart we were just working on. Hang on, I got to find it. Anyway, it looks like I lost the page. It must have reset or something. So let's go ahead and let's go back. Yeah, we missed this setup here. But let's go back. I was saying we were going to go to this morning and go to 5 minute. Let's complete that thought. I think that's so this was, so if you recall, right on that hour was the turnaround. It was going to turn up next hour. Let's do another. All right, so something reset on that. Let's set up another replay, and let's just come into, this is a 5 minute graph that we're going to have up here, and let's just set this up. This was coming into that hourly turnaround. So as we came into the turnaround, let me just set this up, and then we'll go through the charts. Let's just make this educational, because what happened, we're going to decline down into that range. What we're going to see here is the algos, the market grid is going to set up a pattern down here, and the algos are going to start forecasting that turnaround. So we had the hourly chart was telling us that we're going to get that V as we're coming into it. The next bar forecast was a V. And then we'll see what we come up with here. That was roughly, so these times on the charts are Pacific times, so that'll set us up as we come into it like that. I think it was the 7 o'clock hour where we got that turnaround. So let's run this script again. So we should start to decline here. All right, let's just stop here. So this is getting pretty much to the bottom of that big hourly bar. The 5 minute was starting on the PPM1 here, was starting to forecast a turnaround. It was suggesting that this was going to cross through the first and second derivative. What does that mean? That means we're probably going to test the value of the 10-period moving average. And at that time, I think these values are right here. At that time, the 10 average was roughly 52.15, but it's dropping sharply. So it's going to come down. Let's just run the script again just to see what happens here. Okay, a little more weakness forecasted. I got to fix the scale. Yeah, I was just trying to guess where we are in time here. Okay, here we go. So you can see the still coming into that there it is, right there. So this was at 6:30. Let me run this a little bit more. I think there's one more little blip down. Yep. There it is. We're going to get right into that 7 o'clock. So here's what's happening, okay? This is classic. So we're looking at the hourly chart. We're trading down sharply on that hourly bar, if you recall what that looked like. And then we look at the 5-minute chart, and we're looking at the algos. Look at the algos. They're suggesting they're going to start to improve. This 10-period moving average is starting to lose its downward momentum. If you recall, the whole theory behind what I've developed over the years, the whole wave tech theory, is that these price pressure momentum, that's what PPM stands for, as that pressure starts to dissipate, then the probability for the market to rally above that moving average becomes higher and higher as this gets lower. Like right now, we're at 0.69, which is a huge downward forecast, but now because of the AR and the machine learning, we're projecting that this is going to happen. Doesn't mean it will happen, but it's projecting that's going to happen. But we're sitting here right now, and this is this morning at 6:55, 5 minutes before the hourly bar is going to kick in, okay? And what do we know? We know the hourly is forecasting that there's going to be a spike turnaround. We know that the 5-minute is starting to forecast also a turnaround, or we'll see this upward slope that you're seeing on the screen here. And so now we're just waiting for the moment to strike on this thing. And what is going to happen, if you recall, we have the benefit of hindsight right now, but we'll see how this sets up. What happened when that hourly bar ticked over, the V happened, but we had one little more gasp of downside, and then it flipped around on a dime, and it rallied all the way from, I think, 70, we'll get the exact numbers, but I think it was like 78 all the way up into almost at a 90 handle. It was a huge trade. And that was your day right there. I'm telling you, you can turn it off. Most of the days I try to be done trading in the first 2 hours, 3 hours max. I want to be done and hit my goals and go do something else. I have 3 businesses I run, so and I've got even more projects coming on at the moment. But the bottom line is, this is what you have to do to try to set this up. So you try to get in the mindset, and you're looking for this, you're anticipating. Reacting is okay, but if you can anticipate and then respond to these things when they happen, you'll get the trade. So let's run the script just a bit more. Okay, this should be, I just ran it one more bar. You see the PPM1's turning up, PPM2's turning up, PPM3's trying to turn up this 5-minute chart. We should have one little dip down and a reversal. There it is. So next bar down. Meanwhile, the PPMs, even though it dipped down, the PPMs were turning up. They're screaming at us at this point. There's the dip, and there's the reversal. So we get the reversal, and now the follow-through. Now look what's happening with the PPMs. Look at PPM1 is already breaking through its second derivative. PPM2 is kind of delayed. It's likely to happen over here. Now remember, we know we have the benefit of hindsight on this trade right now. But these are things that we would have known had we just being live, because if you think about what the setup is, so we know that we have the market grid on the hourly. We know exactly where it went right to, I think 97 was the exact number. So we're trading right now at 85 on the screen. And the low of this spike was at, let me get the numbers for us. The low of this spike right here was 70, actually did print 72 on that spike low. And in last night's Substack, I said all the algos were suggesting that we should retest Thursday's low. Thursday's low, I believe, was 77 or 79. And so we went down, we retested, we got a reversal off of there. We had an hourly chart turning up, screaming at us, hey, this thing's going to turn around. We got the 5 minute, literally within a bar and a half, because we're not even through the, it's about 7 minutes off the low right now. And we could have even got more aggressive, and which that's why I have the 5 second, the 1 minute, the 5 minute, and then the hourly chart on that quad screen I was just showing you. That's why I set it up like that, because now I can see the flow happening. I can see the 5 minute, okay, 5 minutes, probably forecasting above all this stuff real time. This is my setup, okay? It doesn't have to be your setup, but this is how I do it. So I see the 5 second turn, I got the 1 minute, oh, there's all goes on 1 minute, it's telling me that this 5 minutes going to happen, the 5 minutes happening, and then I go to the hourly, and I already know I'm looking for this reversal. Okay, let's run the script. You can see the algos are now getting stronger on PPM1. Now it's breaking through the 21, probably going to the 40. They were almost to the 40. They're just almost tagged the 40 right there. And we got to, hang on, that high, that was the 5201 high. That was exactly the number on the hourly chart, if you recall. So we actually, that was a trade. So if you were super genius and you were ahead of this, you probably got in somewhere between 72 and 78, and you probably got out somewhere between maybe 97 and 01. So you basically just nailed like almost 30 handles on a trade. And if you have a reasonable amount on a position that is reasonable for your account size, you should have maybe had your day. You probably could have been real aggressive and reversed the trade and played back into a right shoulder. But I'm just trying to show you that trade setup, right? So all you need to do is watch for those and those turns, and that will, and there's usually one or two a day. And those are the things I look for. First thing, I look for, when I wipe my eyes and I can see the screen, that's the first thing I look for. I actually have, I have something called a remote PC. I can actually trade off of my phone on this computer from wherever I'm at. I actually put a trade in flying from Dubai to back to LA while flying over Tehran. So that was pretty funny, off airplane internet. But the point is, what we're seeing here is now the algos have all turned down. They're telling us there's a correction, but all you were going for in the hourly chart was that range on the market grid. So let's convert this. Let me run this script all the way out here so we can just get up to where we are right now. Bear with me a second. So I'm just letting the script run. Send me an email, Jagan, okay? We can talk. Like I said, I think these Friday sessions, I like teaching this stuff because, like I said, I'm kind of mad. I think we missed a trade, but I'm just watching this script unfold here. We're getting fairly close. We got some. There we go. So yeah, we actually got some Fibonacci targets here. We got upward targets. it looks to me like we could head back toward the 200 here on the 5. Let's go back and put this back to an hourly, so we can get some go back to this perspective. So we got that reversal bar. This is the bar that we were talking about just now on the 5-minute, trying to fine tune that. That bar was 72 to 01. And we actually had a pivot up there at 03, 52.11. So that's probably our ceiling on this market. But this is the thing that keeps happening every day. We get down like 30 handles. Let me just bear with me a second. Yeah, so we're down 30 handles and we get these recoveries. You can see this is my setup on TradeStation. I don't have the algos, so I usually have it set up using this stuff along with it. So let's go back to this whole screen here. Yeah, it's always tough to try to educate and trade at the same time. Yeah, email info@Kendall Report, Jackie. Just explain exactly what you're doing. We got a bunch of crud in that box, but we'll find you. Okay, so here's back to our setup. We have the 5-second chart here. I'm going to blow this up so you can see it. We're now trading just above I'm going to blow this up on the 5-second. So yeah, so what we've got going here. And I'm trying to get these screens. I don't know why this got so big. All right. So what's happening now, we've got a couple things going on. This is a 5-second chart. Markets, what the algos are telling us, that we're going to stabilize probably in a range of 85 to 87 here. We'll see down at the very bottom, I think this is significant. Is that where the 200 is saying we're going to turn up just slightly. If you look at this indicator at the very bottom, you can see the algos are suggesting that we're going to see some strength. That means that the 200 is going to turn up. And what we're going to watch for here is a potential to go up. I'm going to flop around just for a second. Yeah, so we're getting some fib targets on the downside, but this thing's starting to go up here.
Order filled.
So I just went ahead and we're just going to try it. This is probably not a great place to put a trade on, but I'm feeling.
Order filled.
I'm just feeling the itch here. See if we can get to come into some of these fib targets here. I got a small position on, so see if we can get a turnaround here in the next minute or so. Maybe get into these fib targets, 89, starting to turn a little bit. It's softening up just a touch.
Order filled.
Yeah, I don't like this position. I shouldn't have tried this. Oh well. Let's see what happens. I'm actually attempting to scale out of this trade. I'm not sure how they're gonna, if this is gonna work out. We should be range bound here. Yeah, that's true, David. I've actually done bigger than that, but yes. Yeah, I don't necessarily, let's take a look at how the algos are setting up. I'm just trying to do something to make it in. So we're trying to see a bit of a turnaround here. We still have some fib targets up here, 87, 89. I've got some trades layered up there just to take some profits if we get up there. Nothing really drastic. We're not like getting a big downdraft. Let's go over to the other screen since we got something live going here.
Order filled.
Okay, this got filled on one. So they're actually going to pay me on this trade. That's nice. We've got a few more ticks to the upside. Let's go back to this chart here. I've kind of got my charts all jumbled up here at the moment.
Order filled.
There we go. Not a big trade, maybe a scalp. I'm going to be patient here. Let's go back to the 5 second and see if we're...
Order filled.
Okay, I got them all. Yeah, made $1,100. Yeah, David, that's a really good point. Matter of fact, let me come by on the screen. Okay, I just did a little scalp for lunch money. Let's do this. Hang on a second. Okay, this is what I call a teaching moment. So one of the things that you have to do is you have to be able to trade multiple contracts to be successful. If you have put one position on and you think you're going to pick the best spot and then you're talking to your screen while you're in a trade, you're not going to win. What you have to be able to do is find this range where you're scaling in, and you want it. It's okay. Let's put it this way: almost 90% of every trade you ever put on will go against you before it goes for you. And it's that, if your stomach's getting, this is something I used to teach in the live room, and it looks like David's been in there. One of the things I always teach is if your stomach's getting really tight, that's a buy signal. It's not a sell. Think about it. And you start to journal around this. If just put on a small position, and every time you're getting scared and feeling that position, that's a signal to probably buy another lot, whatever your size is. I'd like to have at least the ability to buy in threes if I can. Sometimes I'll scale into a large position. I'd rather, like that trade I just did right there, if you do, I know this is if you literally do 50 plus, you just made like $6,000 in the time we watched that. Of course, that takes a lot of capital to do that. But my point is you can keep grabbing this. And I mentioned to you earlier that the goal was to make 1%. This is a big number, 1% per day on your account. And if you can do that, so if you have a $100,000 account, you have to make $1,000 is all. and the next day you have to make 1,100 if you are, and you have to just keep compounding that. And I could tell you that I have been able to do this exact thing. And you don't win every day, but if you keep everything tight, you won't lose very often. And so when you're trading, you can do the micros, absolutely. Trade within your account, and what you want to be able to do is scale in those positions. And I scaled out as well. And those were random right now. I just like, okay, looks like based on the 5-second algo we were looking at, we should get up to 88, 89. I just scaled out in the range it was telling me that it was likely to stay in. And you can see the algos at the time were very stable. They weren't projecting, weren't getting crazy. It looked like the market was going to roll over on us. So it was almost a perfect time to be able to just do a little scalp there. But on the bigger trades, like we missed that morning trade that I laid out for you using the hourly chart. That is key. So what do you mean by scaling into it? It means I used to have this thing that, I still do. When you put a position on, I have that meter. It's showing me what my negative numbers are. I call it attack the red. So if your trade's going negative, you just keep hammering on them. You buy it as long as you believe the setup is valid. Like this morning, let's say you came in right on the hourly tick and it did that last little burst down to 72. You would be buying into that little, basically it was, I suspect without being able to see it live, it was probably a flush that happened down to 72. And those flushes, I'm always trying to buy into those flushes, unless there's a big piece of news that just came out. There was no news coming out, and it's just a flush that happens. You see all of a sudden the market just goes down. You almost always snap back, and not only do they snap back, that is the sign of a climactic move and a reversal. When you see those flushes, they happen they happen all over the place. When you see them and they come back in that 1 minute bar, just does a reversal bar, you've got to be able to come right back in there. I haven't used a stop loss in 30 years. Don't believe they're bad. Stop losses almost guarantee losses. You just trade within the size that you can handle, and you make real-time decisions. We're talking day trading, scalping. You put a stop on, you're just going to lose, because what you're going to do is you're going to sit there and go, well, I've got a stop on, and they just take that money. And that's one of the biggest, pitfalls that a lot of people fall into. Well, I got my stop in, and then I've seen some guys on TikTok. I saw some guy, he lost I think it was 30 or 40,000 in 8 minutes. He's trading fairly big, trading E-minis, and he was just getting hammered. He's putting stops on everything. As soon as he got stopped, it reversed. So, like I said, trading there's science. I went through the numbers. And then what you have to be able to believe in what you're doing to be able to be a good trader. Otherwise, this is why I tell people to journal. You have to do it. Listen, I've been doing this for a long time, so I don't even have to think about it. So I always, maybe this is a little cocky, but I'm like Tom Brady. I can see the entire defense. I know what they're going to do. I know if I throw the ball there, I'm gonna get an interception. The same thing here. I know the pitfalls, and you have to know also, I don't trade as in high frequency stuff. I used to have a Razor mouse that was all programmed. I had one button, just kill all, just exit every position. I don't use that anymore. I was going to put a pad on my desk where I can just push buttons and they automatically execute. I do have a Stream Deck. I can do that with Stream Deck. I haven't set that up. I'm not trading at that same level that I used to from that standpoint. But you just have to be able to make these decisions. And let's see here. I'm just looking at what some folks are saying out there. Yeah, Matt, you're spot on. Matt says usually your stop losses be where you should buy more. Absolutely. And this is the point of journaling, folks. If you know this, you know that you get stopped out on your stop, that is a buy point. And listen, I've told everybody that's been in my old live trading room, I wish I had time just to do that every day. So I'm trying to do some of this live here on YouTube. Is you have to, you have to educate yourself, and you have to make mistakes, and you got to make little mistakes and learn from them. And just what Matt said is so perfect. Every time I had something, and anybody, I know David said he's been in a room, every time I'm in a trade and I put a break-even stop on, I should have taken profits on the trade. I think, okay, I got a good trade on, I'll put a break-even here. They take it out every time. I should have just taken the profit right on the spot. I know anybody's been in a trading room probably seen me do that trade 50 times, and 50 times, without a doubt, I was going to give back the entire profit that happened. Yeah, and you can use you can do some sim trading as well. Just that's a nice thing. Like sim trading is sort of like playing any kind of game. There's always a reset button, and you can learn a lot from that. And so this is what just kind of going along the line of what David is saying, and Matt. Listen, you folks know where you make your mistakes. I used to joke back, listen, I've been doing this a long time, to my buddies, that I only make the same mistake 55 times, okay? It was just a Fibonacci number I threw out there, but you really do them a certain amount of times, and then you're done. Like, okay, every time I do that, like I said, I probably did that trade 50 times. I thought, okay, I've got a big trade on. I take part of the position off, and I'm going to let the rest of the trade run. And I put a break-even stop. Instead of putting, this is the issue. Stops belong at a place where there is a change in trend or something happens. And really, if you're sitting here with the screen running and watching everything that's happening, and you're on top of this, you don't need a stop loss, and you just need to have this strategy down to a point where you're going to be able to respond to the point at time when you're doing that. And the other thing, like I said, I'm 70, I'll be 72 this year. I've never been able to do more than 2, maybe 3 hours at a time, no matter, you can turn the clock back 20 years and it doesn't matter. This is very draining on your mind, the concentration level to do this right. I mean, my face is right here in the screen when I'm trading, so I don't get it out. I know I may not look like it, but I'm a serious German industrial metalhead, not just Rammstein, you name it. And I put my earbuds on, and when I'm trading, I just crank it, just total energy, just slamming it. And that just gets my mind just right into the game. It's very interesting from that viewpoint. So the point is, I'm just looking at some chat here. Yeah, good example of what's being discussed just happened. I didn't see it. Let me just, I know we got off screen because they did just slam them down and slap right back. And I'll tell you what, if you have access to that 5-second chart, you can learn a lot. Just watch it for hours at a time. Understand how the algos are responding. Look for those flushes. That's how you get to be good, folks. You don't just show up and somebody gives you some simple technique and you just trade well. Intraday trading, and this I was going to say this a little bit ago. Intraday trading is the hardest thing, discretionary trading, looking at indicators, looking at a screen, making those type of decisions is the hardest thing anyone ever does. I have had the opportunity to work with some masters on the trading floor days. You know, one of the guys that owned the hedge fund I was with was an unbelievable trader, you know, and still is, you know, just amazing on what is possible when you get focused. You know, I remember when I first met him, I thought he was crazy. I thought, how could anyone make money with doing the stuff he's doing? And then after a while, I realized what he was doing. And it's experience. You got to have experience. And sim can help. Trading small can help. You know, and the stop losses are bad. That's where this came from. And that's why I came up on screen, just kind of do educational session here, because stop losses guarantee losses. I've never seen any other way. I hate stop losses. And I know a lot of folks, the market makers search them out. I've been a market maker. I didn't know where they were. Nobody knew where they were. Maybe we were guessing, hey, under even, there's probably some stops. Maybe there was, maybe there wasn't. But it's not like we could see the book of business where everything was lying. You could only guess. There was no real expanse from there. Let's go. I'm going to just continue to talk. We'll put this 5-second back up on the screen. But the point of what I'm talking about, so TradingView Premium will let you go full. You can go 1 second even. Stop limits okay, but yeah, I just think I have been the market order king. One of my first people that I got to come back up, okay, because this will just be a distraction. One of the first people I met in the business back in Chicago Board of Trade, he used to always say, limit orders, limit business. You know, if you want to own something, own it. You know, decide the price, get in, and don't be weaseling around the prices. And it's very difficult. We all want this exact price. Like, you know, like I said, 90% of every trade you put on will go against you. And probably 50% of every trade you put on, you probably won't win. You have to be able to, you know, the old saying, you know, know when to hold them, when to fold them. That's the art of trading, especially intraday trading. And I know there's people been on, obviously David, who's been talking, been in live trading room. You know, I've done hundreds of trades in one day. And, you know, so when I'm trading very active, I mean, I'm just scalping in and out. It's looks like a maniac. So, the algos work pretty good on crypto. I cover Bitcoin every day. All this stuff should work. Maybe we can bring some of that up. We're at 12:19. I think what we'll do, this ended up be a pretty decent educational day, because the real concept to sit here, I've got to figure out. I really can't come online and trade, do a lot of live trading on YouTube. It's just I've been told that's not a good idea, and that's why we did the private room before. And so I have to be somewhat muted in what I do, but the point of this analysis is really important. And all of these techniques, whoever's asking about crypto, is absolutely that. I mean, a chart is a chart is a chart. The key is, as long as the patterns look orthodox, they look like every chart you see. If you start to see a lot of noise, you can't trade noise. That's not possible. Even on this 5-second chart, while I'm talking here, I'll go back so we can see what's going on. you can see we've just stabilized here at 84. And we're into almost 40 minutes to go, and we're not getting any kind of squeeze just yet. And we're still down, is it down, let me look here, S&P down 30 handles roughly. So we're still underwater. And you can see what's happening here on the chart right now. We're starting to get a little downside action, but check out, let me get off screen here so you can see it. Check out at the bottom, the 200 is about to turn up. There's probably another scalp coming right here, back to the, probably from, let's see here, 83, where we're going, 82.25. I'm just looking here. There's probably a bit of a scalp coming in there. I've jacked around with these screens so much, you can't, I can't see what I need to see. Let me look at my other monitors. See, now one of the dangers that's happening here in this 5 seconds, see the 200 is starting to turn down. We could generate a pretty decent move, but the 200 is telling us that we're about to
Order filled.
I just bought 5 here. I'm just going off of this chart here. I'll just do a small trade here. Bear with me. So this is, all of a sudden the algos, you can see I bought off of this thing down at this low. Everything is turning around right here. Looks like we have some resistance at 83, and I'm literally just going to take
Order
this thing
filled.
out, just a scalp. But I don't want to get, so what happened is this, I probably could have played this out to 84 or so. It's already almost there. But and we're getting fib targets. You can see here, fib targets on the upside here, 83, 84, and 85 off this. Yeah, this is going to go right there. I just did a quick scalp. I saw that extreme down here. So what's the key? What's the key to life? Buy low, sell high, right? So this was the perfect setup off of here. That was setting up. We had a whole lot going on right at that low. That was like an easy scalp, and I could have probably stayed up into the 80, 83.75, 84 level on a scalping level, but it was just a quick little grab. But these patterns, when you get to these extremes, there was a good short right here off of the 200 while I was talking about some of the concepts here. And one of the things, I have something on here. I'm going to try to blow it up so you can see them. You can see these lines. Those they're called the webs. Those are great. Look at this. See, we just traded up. What did we hit there? I think we hit the 84 handle. Yeah, 84 even. Look at this. So there was a trade up to the 200. It was perfect trade. So we had it was probably 81 to 84 3-handle trade right there off a 5-second chart, and off the algos. I mean, that was it. That was a spike high. Now we're seeing everything start to moderate back here. So that is. I usually will come in. I actually use limits to buy. So I on TradeStation, I can click on this. I'll bring this up. I'll show you. I can put an order here just by clicking on the level 2. I just put orders underneath there, so I can cancel those orders. Really simple. So I've been trading. I trade off of the level 2 right here is how I trade. So I'm actually putting a limit to buy on these levels. Look, here's 85. So that was like a really good trade. That was a good low to grab. But I'm just not focused enough in to try to walk this thing through. Green Garden Capital, let's see, how do you use this option, 2 to 6 weeks? What you would do with that is literally you could use probably the daily, weekly algos that will lead you into this analysis. See what time we got. That's a really good question, by the way, because that, look, that was such a good trade right there, folks. It really was. It's amazing. You don't think a 5-second chart could tell you anything. If you're a scalper, 3 handles, 3 handles is a lot of money. 4, that's going from, 81 to 84. If you play that right, you can make a ton of money. Yeah, I'm just seeing if I can think of how we can set this up and do this. Let's try this. Let's go Bitcoin here for a minute, and then I'm going to go back, Green Garden. I'm going to come back to your question, and we'll try to set up some things. Matter of fact, give me a symbol that you are watching, and let's make it real useful for you since you asked the question. But here I've got the same 5-second chart on Bitcoin, right? And not as clean. But not bad. Look at this. We got the rollover signal here on the 200 right here. I don't know what do we go from? We went from 69,000. What is that number? 70,004. And it's just, look at it, just selling off here pretty good. And we printed down to 69,700 in 2 minutes, right? So now look at the bounce. Look at the algos are starting to go around. Let's try to do something a little more realistic. Let's go to an hourly chart here. Yeah, so this was interesting because we were getting almost like the S&P. If you were to look at the algos down here, let me get off screen so I'm out of the way. If you look at those algos back, this is just on a, matter of fact, I'm going to get off this chart. I want to get to a different chart here. Let's go here. So if we come over to this chart, this is hourly. Right here is one of those turn up on the, like all the algos were turning up. That signal that we talked about in S&P was right there in Bitcoin, down at 67, and it traded all the way to 70. So there's $3,000 move right there off an hourly graph. And I know a lot of folks are using as real popular as a 4-hour chart on Bitcoin. And right there's that same trade. I'm telling you, I'm going to try to set this up. This doesn't matter what chart. Okay, all right, that's cool. Yeah, I said I'd cover that. So you were the one that asked that earlier. Yeah, I'll do Adobe on that. Okay. So, but this is one of those classic turnarounds right here, right off it. The projection was for a turnaround. Again, all the algos were turning up without going back and replaying it. I know that the algos were suggesting that we're going to get some kind of move to the upside. And here we are, we had a nice setup. This is on a 4-hour, so this was going back to 1 o'clock my time. So 4 o'clock in the morning Eastern is where that turnaround happened. And as always, the problem with Bitcoin is all the trades happen when you're sleeping, right? So that's it. So let's do this. Let's do Adobe. Yikes. So yeah, I knew it got hammered. Let's go to daily. Yeah, man. These are always tough. So what are you looking to do on this from an option standpoint? Never used, real quick, I'll answer. I don't really use the time-based extensions. Hey, if you figure them out and they're a useful tool, you know, I don't know everything. I am, like I always tell everybody, I have a PhD in moving averages. I understand the characteristics, the probabilities of how markets act around moving averages. I use Fibonacci targets, but not any time or any of the circle stuff. I never used it. And you have to remember when I was growing up, this stuff. When I was growing up, a lot of this stuff didn't exist. There were one of the very first technical screens that I was in front of, I think had 4 or 6 indicators, and that was it. You know, RSI, MACD, just all the typical stuff that you still see out there. And what I found is those things were very difficult to trade off. But I don't know that, so I can't answer that. Green Garden Capital, can you tell me what your goal is? What kind of strategy you would like to see? Like, I mean, when you get a broken market like this, I'll just say this about this Adobe pattern. This is, man, whenever you get this type of pattern where we blow through everything, let's go to weekly. Yeah, I guess we'll just kind of hang out for this last 30 minutes and do stuff. Like whenever you see, I guess this is just a really ugly chart. So I guess if I knew if you own the stock, you're trying to cover right or do a put or looking to protect or whatever, I'm sure a lot of folks got caught with this stock because of the earnings the other day. But if you look at the trends, like we're just looking at like these, everything is still down into mid-April. So you got like 4 weeks of potential downside here. And, the things, just so everybody knows, and then I'll come back and we'll cover some stocks. Just give me a second. Let me just come up for a second. Yeah, so just so you know, I don't deviate outside of my little fishbowl I live in. I have used all these indicators that I put out to everybody. Those are the only things I use. I don't look at any stochastics, RSI. I have no idea. Stochastics I gave up on, I think, long ago. I think the charting system I was talking about did have stochastics on there. I'll read your comments here, Green Garden, just here in a second. But I'm kind of getting bounced over when I'm looking at this screen, so I'm trying to get back on track here. But let's just talk about Adobe here that's on the screen. And what I'm looking at is you're almost down to 200-week moving average. And I'm going to go back. Yeah, so do you own the stock? Okay. Yeah, I need to get, We tried doing something a while back. I have to see if I can get my buddy Charles Cottle. He is the option expert on, especially in putting condors on. Yeah. So, question: do you own the stock or not? Yeah, if you're doing covered calls, this was not a fun day, for sure. That they did nothing. One of the things, I'm just curious here. Hang on. Yeah, so we got blown out of that thing as well. I'm just looking at what WaveTech did here. Let's look at it daily, see if it managed to get this a little better. Yeah, so daily exited here on, let's just see where this happened. So it's pretty choppy up here, but daily sold at 605 with a small profit and was out from there. That would have been probably, if you own the stock, and I go to the weekly pattern, then you're probably looking at, I'm going to go back over here. You're probably looking at, for Adobe, we sold out on that blip. We bought, if we look at the model results on this, so we had a good trade, but everybody gave it back. We bought the stock at 371. We sold it at 531, 43% profit. But if you've been using a combination of the daily models, then we probably would have been able to enhance that a little bit. A lot of times you can use a daily model sell signal as even a place to maybe put some put protection on, or you could write calls, which would have been a good time. But of course, when the news came, then the call writing, unless you're doing huge ratios, 3-to-1 or something, if you're doing 1-to-1 to your capital, you're not going to, it still, there's no way to make this drop in the prices a fun day. But this number is pretty good. On the dailies is pretty substantial profit. Let me go off screen here. Hey, listen, I don't know what you're doing, but just telling you, you should get WaveTech on your screen, and there's a way to set up these option strategies and how to use this, especially if those are the kind of strategies you're doing. I think would give you a lot of guidance, and it's $96 a month. So I would go sign up. You can go to kendallreport.com/WaveTech, and right now it's the middle of the month, so it's prorated. There's no trial. It would be half of that, $45. So give you a chance to kind of go through a list of stocks. You can also put a whole lot of stocks in a portfolio and manage them. Anybody's doing those kind of covered rights and want to own these stocks, then that's a good way to go, because this particular model here has a net profit of 600%. It's at 108 winners. It's interesting. The win-loss ratio is only 42%, but this is where it made its money. It makes $13.82, only loses $6 on the losing trades. But if you're using this combination with the doing option strategies around owning the stock, then you can really, I should probably do an entire class on how to do that. I think that would be that would be very, very useful. And I've kind of been sneakily putting this out, but we're in the process of modernizing this platform. So this is the old platform, and we're working on some new stuff right now. So I don't know how long it's going to take, but it's being worked on. But anyway, back over here to these models, like we're selling off here. That's what was being indicated earlier, that we're probably, that last hour, I told you we weren't going to get a squeeze, probably going to get some sell-off, so we're going to stay under pressure. We're down 36 handles now. It would have been great to be selling up here at this level, around 85. I am going to get off this. Yeah, let's go over here. I do want to see somebody mention, and I'll do gold. What time is it? I'll do gold and a couple other markets here while we're just kind of hanging out. Yeah, we're printing. Let me get the daily. Yeah, this is something I mentioned in last night's Substack. As just on yesterday, I've been talking about sub 4% interest rates, and I had to get the humble pie and the crow out last night because what we're seeing here is all of a sudden everything reversed on one day's action, which was yesterday. If you notice these green dots here, we're looking at 10-year treasuries on yield right now. And we closed above that. All of a sudden, we got new fib targets up here, just crazy numbers. And I mentioned these in Substack. All of a sudden, 457, 478, and 490. That would be not a good thing if these are accurate. This is going to put a crush job on a lot of stuff. Yeah, no, I agree. I agree with that. The whole premise was if PPI would have not come in like it did, then we probably had a pretty good chance. That all changed in one day. Yeah, no, I listened. I was just reading my tea leaves and everything. The forecast was quite weak, especially on the weekly charts, and all of a sudden there's still some things out there on this as far as it goes, that we still have this downward slope coming potentially, but these algos were drastically forecasting some big numbers down. I think what we'll see over the next week or so, that all of this projections are going to flatten out. And we're probably going to maybe all of a sudden 4% is going to continue to be the floor. And we dipped down almost to 4% the other day. We needed a close under there to make that happen. We never got it. And now all of a sudden I'll draw something in that I think is become very probable. When I see these changes, I am going to be on top of it. So this is basically what we're getting here. We do have these Fibonacci targets up here, but we could be, that would be how this would be looking right now, with the exception is down here, if we look at the PPMs, they're not really responding. So I don't think those fib numbers are valid. But every time I don't mention them, I get in trouble from the standpoint of they seem very unrealistic. If you remember when we were trading up here at 450, right at this level right here, we're trading 438. We got downward fib targets for the market to go to 389, and right here went to 387. So I never ignore these things. They don't seem like they're very realistic. Same thing over on this further here to the left is back on May 23rd, we were getting projections for yields going to 401, 430, 447. And here we go. We went right into those numbers. And it was some months later, this is a weekly chart, same thing again here. We still have the only valid numbers that we have on this chart from a fib target is down, but the algos are not really responding in that fashion. So let's do a couple markets. People are asking about gold. And let's just do a couple markets as we come in. I'm just looking at my other monitors over here. Okay, so gold here, this is a weekly. Last week we got a RTX sell signal. What that means is we closed outside of that upper band of the range that from the market grid. Let me just put that up there. I know it's, let me go off screen so you can see it. I know this is fairly small on the right-hand side of the screen over here. But what we got was 2143 was RTX last week. We closed at 2185, well above that. So that signals 1 to 2 weeks of sideways movement, and we still have positive algos suggesting that we probably go into some sort of trading range here on gold. This is the other thing that happened this week is we got new fib targets on the upside, and we got 20, let me get these numbers right, 2235, 2450, and 2528. So those are all numbers. My favorite pun is that going to make Peter Schiff very happy. Let's do silver real quick. Silver also got some new fib targets on the upside. We're looking at 2639, 2807, and 2911. Now, one of the things, I haven't officially announced it yet, but it looks like on Tuesday, on Stock Tuesday, we're going to go through mining stocks. And I know there's a couple folks that show up here all the time that follow those things pretty closely. I think Floyd's Garage, aren't you big on mining? There was a guy that used to hang out from Canada a lot that was always on there. I haven't seen him around for a long time, but he seemed to have a pretty good handle on that. So yeah, so silver is definitely on a run. The algos are suggesting more strength. This is a weekly chart for multiple weeks. Everything is lining up right around April, mid-April from the standpoint. I see a lot of charts in Bitcoin, everything. So there's a lot of stuff. So yeah, we'll just, I'm just looking at timeline, trying to find a few more stocks people are asking for. Yeah, by the way, if someone, I see housing, if we did see much more of an increase, that would be bad. it doesn't take much. I talked about this, I think in Substack, I might have mentioned it on one of the dailies videos, is that it doesn't take much. The slightest downtick, we got just a little downtick in yields, and mortgage apps were up like 12%. And I think mortgages in general were up a fair amount as well from the standpoint of, so imbalance 4.2 billion to the sell side. And I just got an alert on on the iPad back here. So anyway, yeah, so let's go ahead. Yeah, everything's starting to point. I don't know if we get a correction on everything. We're already seeing this market rollover. Look, we got to do Tesla, because this one's for me. So I think it's interesting. Let me go to daily. So we managed to get a little bit of a green bar. I mentioned always makes me nervous when Kathy Wood's buying anything, although the algos are suggesting a bit of a turnaround, but we've got, so we could trade back up to 168, 171. Still think there's more on the downside in this stock. I mean, my couple comments that I've made on EVs has really got the fanboys out big time. Thank Jorge, that's good. I'm glad you enjoyed it. But yeah, so we're looking, I was talking about 149, still a target here. But everything looks like we're going to get a bit of a bounce on Tesla. So I know I've been a pretty big troll. I actually like Elon Musk. It's not about Elon. It's really just about some of the things I fear about what's going on with the EV sector. You know, you've got what, I forget, one of them's filing bankruptcy. I don't remember who it is right now. I did a minute ago. But you're just seeing, somebody was pointing out, and I guess I was kind of a troll on a tweet earlier, that the market, that Tesla is the only one that's really doing anything in the EV space. And they're going, and they were championing no competition. And I said this, no competition means there's no market. Competition is the key element in every market. You want other competitors. It keeps you honest. It makes you work harder to beat the guys. When you have no competition, that means there's not a lot of interest, and other people can't make it in the market. Whether it is, I think Tesla's got their autonomous driving stuff, that amazing robotics, AI, all this stuff, right? They're good. But in the end, I don't think people want these cars. Not right now. I still think Toyota is the big winner, and they're going to have this hydrogen. It's even worse as far as no infrastructure, but at least it's a little more viable to, I think, ultimately create. I always joke that in 7 minutes I can charge my car for about 380 miles. So that's called fueling the gas, right? So, and I don't have to worry about, there's literally somewhere to fill up on every corner. But what's going on with Tesla is really just a realization that the EV market's having trouble. And I think Tesla wouldn't be, Elon needs to thank the U.S. government for all of the, subsidies that has been given to these cars. Because I don't think they would have sold that many if you didn't get a big tax credit. So enough about that. All right, let's go back in. Let's go back over to the futures here. Yeah, here's, are we at the 10-minute? Yeah, so this is the final few minutes of the market trading. So we did get a little bit of a squeeze back to 83, 84, basically a sideways range. This is the 5-second chart, so we'll feel all of it. Looks like the algos are still got a little more upside here. We should track this 10-period moving average, but it's already, this thing changes so fast, the algos turn south, like obviously every 5 seconds we get a new bar. But it's basically forecasting right now, looking out 81 to 83 as a range. But we do have some fib targets down here at 80, extreme at, right at 80, right in that range, 79. So it looks like we're getting a little filling in here, but looks like right now for the next, what do we got, 4 minutes to go. So, Floyd's garage, I see that. Yeah, I mean, she's just like the worst. I'm just reading some comments here real quick. Yeah, FF, I agree. It's listen, I think EVs are cool. I have driven a Tesla. I have been in them. I got a new car last summer, and I didn't buy one. And my car only does 0 to 60 in 3 seconds, so I can't quite beat some of the plaids. That's okay. So we're just watching this thing just kind of come in. We got down, what did we get to here? Well, we printed down to 77. So we got a little more decline. Yeah, this thing looks like it wants to go out kind of on a, I have no intention of retiring. I love this stuff. I'm going to be building a brand new studio in the next several months, so I am not going anywhere. So we'll spend another minute and a half here, watch this close. Still kind of little pressure coming in. Maybe that was what I said, was 4.2 billion on the sale program that was there. Yeah, trying to turn around a little, maybe a little squeeze in this last minute. We are, let's see where we are. We are last minute right now, so just started. I know it's about a 20-second delay. Here we go. We got this little bit I was just talking about. It was starting to show up. It's not much. We're probably going to go out somewhere between 79 and 82, it looks like. 200 period moving average here. There we are. We just traded it back up to 80. So a little bit of a squeeze. I've noticed these numbers, they get the imbalanced numbers. You can almost fade those every day. Thanks, Joel. I really appreciate that. I stopped writing in the pandemic. I used to write every day to my customers, and just in case any of my institutional guys haven't got the newsletter, just sign up for the free, and I will get you full access. Yeah, so let's talk about this while we're finishing the day. Looks like we are done. So we went out at 85. They squeezed them pretty good. Let me go back. Trade station steals your screen at the close. But yeah, nice little push. So we did get a little squeeze. I'm telling you, these numbers I get every day. So let me. That's cool, Joel. I appreciate it. Yeah, you know, I'm not really saving any time, but I feel like it helps a lot in articulating what I'm trying to say sometimes. I'm just reading some comments. Oh, cool. Thanks, Nick. That's very cool. All right, I'll come back up for a minute here. I think there were maybe, this is something I would like you to do if you're watching. We still have like 200 watching. I always enjoy these so much. I don't want to go offline just because it's closed. I'd love to spend another hour, but unfortunately I have more things I have to get done. But here's what I want to put out. Like Tuesday is probably going to be mining stocks and metals is what I'm planning on doing. If you know the schedule that I'm doing now is there will be a video that comes out on Sunday night. It's supposed to be pre-produced. Last week I had trouble with, I bought, you can see and right behind me, I bought a new digital mixer for the mic. And it was just giving me fits all weekend. It like sucked my life away trying to get things working. And hopefully this the sound is better. But here's the plan. There'll be a video on Sunday night. It will not be live. I'll premiere it. Most likely it'll be a synopsis of what looking forward to the week. We got Fed week coming. I'll let you know if Wednesday we might do a live stream around the Fed. We'll figure that out in the next couple of days. But the schedule is a Sunday pre-produced video, Monday live at 7 Eastern, which is kind of we call Macro Monday. It'll just go through a lot of the details. We're going to have a lot to talk about because we have the Fed coming in. And then on Tuesday, I'm focusing on stocks. I think this week I've decided on mining and probably looking at metals, maybe cover some copper, lithium, but do this, okay? Don't put it here on the channel. If you have stocks you would like me to follow, info@kendallreport.com. Send an email with some suggestions on stocks that you'd like to see me do. Focusing in on mining, they could be junior miners, could be majors, don't care who it is. And that'll be the way I would suspect we'll kind of get some ideas from as well. So I'm just trying to think, oh yeah, so Tuesday is stocks, Wednesday is back to reviewing everything. Wednesday could end up to be, instead of the normal 7, we might do a Fed meeting special. Thursday's an off day, just like this week, and then Friday back to here, live and talking about trading and how to set up trades and things like that. Yeah, just looking at some of the chat. So are we getting an echo right now? I see somebody going echo. Reading some comments, folks, bear with me. Okay, all right, I just want to check. Okay, I see somebody said echo. Okay, cool. All right, I think we should call it. And I really enjoyed today. I hope you folks got a lot out of it. I know you kind of have to hang around. I wish we could had a way to scrub all the good stuff out and just consolidate it. I've been looking for some sort of editor. The problem is that we don't, someone that doesn't know what I'm talking about, you're probably not going to be able to edit this thing very well. It's been very frustrating because over the years I've done some pretty amazing live streams, and it's out there, but it's a needle in a haystack trying to find it. Huh, I don't know, Craig. That's weird. Interesting. Jeff, yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I would love to do the trading room. It's not going to happen. I'm sorry. I just don't have the room in my schedule at the moment. I've got quite a bit going on. So this is kind of a compromise, and I put a lot of freebie information. All you guys need to do, if you haven't got the indicators, go ahead and get them. They are kendallreport.com/indicators. I'm going to have some nice screens and stuff to put up that you'll be able to see this stuff. So anyway, yeah, I enjoyed it, folks. I hope, make sure you hit the like button. A lot of folks are bailing out, so I'll play my favorite music at the end. I always love this. So anyway, enjoy, have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you real soon.